everybody, I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just want to issue major spoiler alert. We are going to be going over everything that happened in episode 5 of Peacemaker Season 2. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to HBO Max, check out that episode, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
All right, joining with me to break down everything from episode 5 of Peacemaker Season 2, it's Jon Jon Rico!
Hello, I couldn't think of another reference this week.
Yeah! I was just about to ask what you...
I couldn't think of any specific quotes.
There wasn't like a specific thing again. Like I keep waiting for like a funny like, little catchphrase or something, but we didn't get... This was more of like...
This was very story driven,
Yes,
and like so not
serious.
so much a lot of funny dialogue going on. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
This was more of a serious, and even like had notes of like somber moments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, I don't want to talk over. You know, I can see the rundown in front of me. I don't want to talk over any of your points, but there are some somber moments and notes in this. But I do have to kick this off because we were talking about this last episode. It is official. Eagly is the prime eagle,
Yeah.
which is absolutely batshit crazy and in the best ways possible. Like.
Oh, dude, it was. I literally, like as I said last week, it'd be so freaking crazy if we see him with an army of eagles, and literally the next week we see him with an army of eagles.
Not only that, but like just like we were both saying, Michael Rooker's character dead. Like
Ooh, yeah.
another James Gunn
Eagly
project.
bringing back the finger, and Chris is just like, I'm not gonna ask how you got that.
Yeah.
That might have been the funny part for me. That would have been my reference. Like, I'm not gonna ask how you found that.
Well, did he say that, or did he say that I'm gonna pretend that you just found that, or something? Like, it was
Yeah,
it
or
was
something
like
that's
that.
I'm gonna pretend you just found that. I think that's what it was.
It was something like
that's
that.
What it was.
But, yeah, I got so worried for about a split second when he actually used the comically large gun and shot down an eagle. And I know that was
apparently
like,
a real gun. Yeah, which is it's called a punt gun or something like that. Which got, if you watch, they talked about it on the podcast because they had Michael Rooker on this for this episode, and he has like some hunting knowledge and stuff like that. As he goes, yeah, it's something that they use. It's usually like perched up, and it's something to like do like a big group of birds in the air, sky or something like that. Which I was like, wow, the fact that they actually got like a legit one is pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, the fact that like now I think Eagle is in good shape for at least the rest of the season, being that he is now officially the prime eagle and has just a legion of eagles, like anytime he wants to call on them. I think he's good. I'm hoping that like maybe there's gonna be something where like he can present that to Chris, like, and be like, hey, I can actually not just be like your mascot, your helper. I can actually be like, your co-hero in this type of thing. Like somehow like show that, because I feel like there's always been like this weird balance of like Chris loves Eagly, obviously, but like in certain times he's like, no, you idiot pet, like you know what I mean, like every once in a while,
like they're like brothers in a sense. Even though it's like it's a pet owner thing, but they're really like they kind of fight like brothers sometimes.
Right, but it's always, it seems like, at least up until now, where Chris is always kind of like, obviously at the end of the day Chris loves him, like type of thing, but it's always been like that kind of like Chris is above Eagly. So now like if Eagly ever shows that level of power, I feel like now they can be just teammates moving forward. And I'm waiting for that moment, or I'm hoping for that moment, just so that like it is like everybody maybe on the 11th Street Kids team can be like, holy shit, Eagly is like this omega powerful like animal type of thing. Like, you know what I mean?
If he's gonna somehow manifest these powers in front of the team or something like that,
Right.
it'd be kind of cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Or if those powers will carry over into the new world because he went over there with them now too. It'd be kind of fun to see if he kind of messes up with some eagles over there as well.
I mean, like
maybe that's where it might show up.
Yeah, I don't think the universe changes the individual that goes to the universe. So I don't think like, you know, you would have powers in one universe and not have powers in the next. I mean, I don't think it works the same as like Superman.
Or maybe they're the eagly in that world is like a prime eagle also, but he's just living amongst the eagles. So that could be a fun little like
or what if
eagle kind of thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is we could go off on a crazy long tangent on this. But like, what if like, and I will say this again. I know I'm repeating myself, and I'm going to say this probably multiple times before the season is over. This is what I love about us being able to follow a show like this week to week, because there's so many different theories. There's so many different points of view. There's so many different people like just falling down different rabbit holes and going, what if this? Like type of thing. So there's been all of these theories, and one of them that I definitely read, and I believe this was on Reddit, and I apologize, I don't know who, you know, to give credit to. I read so many, seen so many clips on TikTok and everything like that too. They were like, what if the ritual that Michael Rooker's character did actually like awakened the prime eagle in Eagly? So like, like, what if the Eagly in the other dimension or in the other Earth hasn't been awakened, so it doesn't even know he's a prime eagle, and then Eagly goes in, uses a little bit of power, and then he wakes up type of thing. Like, what if it's something that they have to be awakened type of thing? So,
and the fact that it hilariously comes from a lie that Economos told to saying, wow, just based off how he knocked him over. Well, if that's what happened, then it must be the prime eagle. Like, it's crazy. It's a very James Gunn way to come about like of an origin story for something like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it weaves into the, you know, this, you know, the way that this series has gone anyway. Things that are joked about in previous like times happen to be true, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's such a good in universe thing to actually be proven true, like to the audience. I just think it's so funny. But anyway, we could, like I said, we could go off on some crazy tangents through this episode. But before we do, Rico, what were some of your instant reactions to episode 5?
Yeah, I think this was probably the strongest episode of the season yet for me. I think there was a lot of tense moments, a lot of good one-on-one character moments. I always say I think that's what the show actually does really well, where somebody's just great like one-on-one scenes with certain characters that are interacting with each other. And then of course we get like the really cool cliffhanger at the end of, you know, Chris and all them going through along with some other people following him along as well, which is going to be a really interesting thing to kind of unfold as the season progresses. But one of the things I really liked was the beginning of the episode, of course, when the whole meetup with Chris and Hardcore at the park, of course, and Argus is trying to set him up, and you have, you know, Judo Master already on the roof with the sniper, which is kind of crazy because based off of the cliffhanger or the episode ending from last week, Chris is driving to meet him, and Judo Master's walking there from the woods. But somehow he's already there with the rifle when Peacemaker gets to the park. So who knows? Maybe she's crazy fast. But one, I really enjoyed the way that Peacemaker weaves his way through the park to avoid getting sniped at. Like, where he just kind of manipulates, like going in front of like a dog or two, and then they're just like, damn it, I can't do it yet. And he's like hugging a random stranger just to avoid, and then of course,
goes into the soccer game.
Joins in the soccer game, and then of course like making sure he sits on the wrong side of Hardcore, and then realizes, and then he's like, oh, I gotta switch real quick. So I thought that was all really fun, and it leads to a pretty tense standoff as well between him and Argus, where we get the cool reveal that Sasha Bardo is actually a cyborg. So I thought that was a really cool one. It's just kind of like a nice way to grow characters within the DCU. Of course, like obviously you could just have this character be another agent character who's just really good at their thing, at their job. But to kind of add in the whole cyborg aspect of it, and then the funny side part of it too was Economos talking about having a picture of like her mangled body as like his screensaver because he hates him. He hates her so much. Yeah, I hate her so much. Like you have this pre-op photo when Mango buys my screensaver for a while. They're like, damn. But yeah, I just think that presents a lot of interesting things to do with that character in the future, especially if you have her interacting with someone, say like Batman, possibly. So yeah, and then the little tense kind of face off between her and Hardcore at the Argus office was really great because it just shows that Hardcore is all about that life because she doesn't give a fuck if she's a cyborg. She's like, no, just back off. Like I made a judgment call and stuff like that.
Right.
I really like that little back and forth between them. But yeah, this is a really strong episode with a lot of great moments. I also love the one-on-one with Peacemaker and Frick Flag when he's just beating the absolute piss out of him. But it kind of has a moment that I was kind of hoping to see as well. When Chris does tell Rick, like, man, I like your son. Like, I didn't want to like do it. It's just kind of like the nature of the situation, kind of a thing, and how much he regrets it too. But Rick wasn't hearing any of it. He didn't want to. He want any part of it. But yeah, it just sets up some more growing character moments to look forward to later on the season.
Yeah, I really did. Just like you said, I really did appreciate that scene because we do. I mean, we as the audience already know like the internal like turmoil that Chris has been going through in season 1 and also in season 2 so far. But it was just kind of nice to hear him say it out loud to somebody and just be like, I can't undo this, but it's haunting me every day type of thing. Like basically what it boils down to and he is just, remorseful in that moment. He's not even fighting back. He's just like, I deserve this, like type of thing. So
because it's also after that scene with Hardcore at the park too, where he like they kind of like it's basically the same thing where it's like, oh, okay, this doesn't work because of like I killed your friend essentially. So yeah, of course that's like that's always going to be part of it. And that's kind of like it only further drives his decision later on in the episode too. So it's just kind of like him being like, yeah, I deserve all this. Like, so yeah, it's a pretty brutal a scene for when it comes to Peacemaker's end, but yeah, it's some pretty powerful stuff because you get the funeral scene at the beginning of the episode too, where you get to see how like it affected not just Hardcore and Rick, but also someone like Economos knew him and liked him too. So like there's a lot of different people.
We all liked him in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but you see in the show like the people who personally knew him, and then now all those people are personally attached to Peacemaker now too. So yeah, it's a big huge conflict of emotions that everyone's kind of feeling.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that leads perfectly in. So do you want to get to some takeaways?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to kick off big takeaways with, and we knew this was coming and like I said, it leads perfectly in. We go, from that tense scene where Hardcore is basically saying, no, this never means anything because you killed the one friend I ever had type of thing. And then we see her basically taking out Chris to save his life from being shot. We see all of that. And then even a step further from that, she says that Economos has to, enter him into the system because otherwise, Rick Flag Sr. can just beat the shit out of him.
He pulls another good Economos move right there, which is pretty great.
And then we get, kind of the talk in the break room between Economos and Hardcore, like to basically, no matter what, to basically assure the entire audience that this is the team. The 11th Street kids are together. Everything that she did, was to keep Chris safe, get him out of this situation.
Copacetic message.
Yeah. She didn't even want him to show up in the first place.
Yeah. We learned that that's actually a code word between the two of them. Like if I send you copacetic, that means do not show up. And you still showed up. So that's why even more like she was actually pissed at him to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, just like I've already been saying, I do like, I like that we got the official turn. We got the official turn and coming together of the 11th Street kids. Like by the end of this episode, everybody's back together. I mean, minus Peacemaker, but they're all like, we are going to work together to get to the other dimension or to the other Earth or to open up this box, like whatever. Like we're a team. Like we're always going to be a team. We always were a team. We're back together officially. And I was waiting for this turn because I think like we've both said, Season 2 has been great. Like every episode's been really good. There's been some really amazing parts. But what I really enjoyed about Season 1 was we got the team together. And so we really had that like a lot of bonding and stuff like that. And that not having that aspect has been missing. And so I'm excited that we're finally getting them all back together. and we're all getting them to work towards a common goal that we're going to find out, I guess, in the next 3 episodes, basically. But like, I just like now that we have that turn, we officially have coming together of the entire team. And a side note, there was 2 small moments with Agent Fleury that has me wondering, is he going to end up part of the 11th Street kids? Because he does say, like, that was the right thing to do, like to Economos, like putting him into the system so that Rick Flag Sr. couldn't murder him, basically, in the witness room.
Yeah, he has some kind of moral compass.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I'm wondering if underlying he's gathering all of this and he's just going to, go, okay, that team is kind of the good guys overall. So I'm going to, move to that team. I'm wondering if that's going to shuffle up pretty soon and happen. I mean, it could happen where everybody's on the same side, depending on what happens in the alternate Earth, for all we know.
Yeah.
But I just thought, like, having those little teeny tiny moments with Agent Fleury were really cool. Another thing, and I will, like I said, go back to some of the theories and why I enjoy going week to week with this, is that some people are starting to speculate that maybe Agent Fleury is a Martian. Not, Martian Manhunter, obviously, because that would be a major character to kind of, have for... Tim Meadows is an incredible comedian and an incredible comedic actor. I just don't know with how
he's not a long-term hero character like that. Yeah.
I don't know with how old he is, like if he would be signing it up for multiple movies and multiple series and stuff like that. It could, hey, we could be wrong. It could happen. But
Martian Manhunter, realistically, is it just a more seriously toned character, so it'd be just a wild jump from what we know,
right?
And I obviously I think they want to work in like the John Jones aspect of it as well, unless they just say that's my real name or something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
But I just think there are things that make sense that he could potentially be an alien. Like, what if he was the alien from the very beginning that Chris...
the species. I thought about that too.
Yeah, and he just, like, bird blindness is because he just doesn't understand,
human stuff.
Yeah, the Earth's bird population. He just doesn't.
Or why a wink means that, like, we're all in this together, and they're like, that's not what that means at all.
Right.
His misunderstanding of like basic things.
Right, exactly. So it kind of makes sense.
There's some weird little things in there. And then of course the behind the scenes aspect of like how many actors supposedly auditioned for this role too, which is pretty wild. Like, you don't usually do that for just like a small bit character usually.
Exactly. So I'm watching, and I choose my words I'm watching, like, with just like anything that he does moving forward. I'm like, could that be true? Like, I really I think I just think it would add so much to his character, and it would just be even funnier if we got a reveal that he is a Martian, and he's, he ends up being part of, like I said, the 11th Street Kids, and he's just their extraterrestrial. He replaces, Goff, the butterfly, who was helping out the team in the first season, and now the team moving forward has another extraterrestrial on it, type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it would be an interesting twist and an interesting new member of the team moving forward.
The big tell for me will be if he like gets near fire and he like is like super afraid of it or something like that, which is like the big weakness for Martian Manhunter has always been fire. So I always be kind of funny if they kind of slowly kind of hint to stuff like that. And like, he's a Martian, we knew it.
But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, for the next 3 episodes, anything can happen. I mean, they've been keeping these so under wraps that like I can't wait. But before I get too far ahead of ourselves, because obviously there's, predictions we've got to do going into these final 3 episodes with massive reveals that are supposed to be coming up and all this stuff. But Rico, what were some of your big takeaways for episode 5?
Kind of a little bit of like kind of what you were saying about like the whole, uniting of the 11th Street Kids again, like, they're coming back together to, rallying together to get Chris back, right? Because that's kind of like the big declaration that Hardcore makes by the end, which is a big kind of a character moment for her, because that's obviously the whole thing that she's wrestling with the entire season, is that how she, like, her whole relationship with Chris and how she kind of sees that, whether they're just like, just a teammate or like someone that she hates because of what he did to Rick, or if it's someone that she just has like true feelings for, like Adebayo has just like been trying to tell her, like, nah, you guys work together, like that's what the whole thing. So like it just kind of comes into that whole moment of clarity, I guess, for her, which I think is really good. But yeah, I love the entire just like ending sequence of this episode. One set to November Rain, which is just a great song. Like as you hear, like just sometimes he doesn't use usually like a lot of major like hits from big bands usually, but usually when he does, they're pretty significant. Like he used some Ozzy Osbourne this season, of course, and now we get some Guns N' Roses. But it's usually a lot like more lesser known bands so that we can just get exposed to some new music and stuff like that too, right? But he had a great Motley Crue song that was used last week when John Cena played it to the piano. So yeah, usually when like a major hit is used, it's usually done in a pretty poignant way. And I like it with the way it's done with the overlapping of one Adebayo like reading the letter, and then I think it changing to Cena kind of narrating as it goes along. I love that kind of cut with one him taking Eagly over to the other world, and then him and them like flying along with his dad and his brother along with Eagly. I just thought that was a really cool shot of them all together. And then of course, it's showing back like the effects it has on the rest of the 11th Street kids, of course, mainly Vigilante, who we see probably show the most emotion that he's probably ever shown in the entire show when he's just straight up bawling on the bed because he was abandoned by his friend. Like he let everybody know essentially, besides Vigilante, like everyone had kind of an idea. Like we never really got that kind of like goodbye moment with those two, and I think that's probably what hurts Vigilante the most, I would say. But yeah, I just think it just kind of shows that like what like we were talking about last week, like when the moment really matters, he shows some true emotion, and that's probably like the biggest moment we've seen so far from him too. And I like Adebayo, of course, consoling him because that's always been like the little quote unquote rivalry, like he's my best friend, she's my best friend kind of a thing. Because Chris calls Adebayo his best friend, but really Vigilante sees himself as Chris's best friend. So, but then seeing those two embrace over them, over him leaving was a pretty touching moment, and I really enjoyed that a lot. But on a lighter note, but when Chris goes back on Earth 2, or what I think we're calling it for right now, and we see on the TV screen the top trio takes out the kaiju, and it's the same freaking kaiju from the Superman movie, at least same species. But I just love it. Like I imagine just like we have like the design for this kaiju already. We can just put them on the TV screen, make it like we haven't seen them done in this Earth yet, so we can just use that one. Like, yeah, just use that. But I love seeing that again, just like it's kind of like one of those, Leo and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like kind of a thing. Like, there's the kaiju. So yeah, that was really cool. And then of course, like just the great like ending shot of Chris and Hardcore as they go into kiss or something like that. As like the heroic like seeing the girl after getting the mission done kind of thing. He's got the new suit on. I think it's our first time seeing him in an official Peacemaker suit, so I think that was pretty cool.
And it's Earth 2 suit, so it looks a little different.
It's the full sleeve suit as opposed to like the short sleeves I think he has in the in the normal Earth, and of course it's all covered in kaiju blood. So, but yeah, just a really great ending to the episode overall, and I'm just again looking forward to more.
Yeah, and he officially got his jetpack. Remember, he wanted.
Oh yeah, I got the jetpack he always wanted too.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, number one, yeah, the kaiju immediately. I was like, oh shit, that looks familiar.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he killed the Superman one. Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, the odd thing, the one thing I will say about the way that episode ended is we cut to black before we see them embrace, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I apologize, sounding like a broken record. I like diving into other people's theories and hearing other people like discuss the reason why. And some people online, and like I said, I apologize. I don't have, I haven't cited my sources, but I'm not taking credit for it. I'm doing my best. Is they were saying something is going to happen in that moment. And what if it is that this universe's Hardcore has already figured out that that's not the real Chris from her universe type of thing. So instead of them embracing, she like pulls them aside and goes, who are you really type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've figured it out. Like they noted a bunch of little tiny things, but like the fact it's just a little fishy that we didn't just see them, actually embrace. Like to end it type of thing. It cuts to black before they really officially even touch.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I just think there's something there. There's something they can literally start the next episode on, and it won't overlap what happened. It'll literally, be like, oh shit, that's what happened instead, like type of thing. So
my guess on that is probably a little more boring, but I would say like the reason that they don't show us, Chris kissing that hardcore first is because they want the first on-screen kiss to be between him and on like our hardcore, because that's kind of I feel like what it's building up to, like those two kind of just uniting in that way. So like it's just kind of cheap to give him the kiss that he doesn't. I guess he doesn't really earn, because he's just going and getting the easy route, I guess, like going to the dream world and getting it where it's already kind of like laid out for him in a sense.
You know what'd be really funny?
And it's kind of the earning it in the sense.
Yeah. You know what'd be really funny is in that moment, since we, like I said, we don't even see them actually get to like right next to each other.
Rick?
Yeah, what if Rick jumps in and he's just in the middle of them too, and he goes, "What do you think you're doing?" Like
puts his hand in the middle.
Yeah, something like that happens, and just so we can open the next episode with that kind of like just comedy moment really quick. I think that would be really funny.
That'd be very funny.
Yeah. But anyway, there's so much to kind of theorize on the next 3 episodes and the next episode in general. So you want to get to some predictions?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right, why don't you kick off predictions?
Yeah, so we know now that like we're in the final stretch of the last 3 episodes here, and these are the episodes that James Gunn has been like highly building up, saying he's been keeping these very close to the best and not really showing anyone any advanced pressers or anything like that, just because of major spoilers that could happen.
Right.
So I'm just very excited to see, because obviously we built up to a very like where the story from here is just going to kind of go nuts. I feel like, because now we have the 11th Street kids being like, yeah, we're gonna go get him back. Obviously we still have Argus and them in pursuit, so we know that's going to come to a head at some point. Obviously Chris left the device there for them to give to Argus as like leverage to get them off of any kind of charges that would happen to them just for being associated to them. So I have to imagine that still at some point that Rick is going to get his hands on that tech to get over to that Earth, and so I'm anticipating some kind of like a meeting between him and that version of Rick Flag Jr. maybe, or something to that nature. But speaking of Rick Flag Sr., I'm still very interested to see who his Belle Reeve contact is. I don't think we've actually got that yet. And I still think as the story progresses, I feel like the options get a little more and more interesting, I would say. Obviously one of the first ones that we were thinking of early on the season was like a Dr. Phosphorus, only because of Alan Tudyk's like association with like the show via his wife and all that. It would just be kind of funny to see a character like him for some reason. But obviously the ones that seem a little more probable maybe could be the Bride of Frankenstein character would be kind of a cool character, just because of like his relationship with Rick, and like obviously the way they're kind of teasing some kind of like flirty nature between him and Sasha Bordeaux too. Like I wonder how the Bride feels about that, because he was doing the same thing with the Bride. Like he's just like a little ladies man at the end of the day. Like he's just macking on any chick that is just in his vicinity.
I mean, it's in character really from Krypto.
It's very much in his character. Yeah, it's very much in his character. It's like I just love that he's very much a womanizer, which I find that Frank Grillo is just really great at playing too. But obviously, with all the theories surrounding this other Earth too, possibly of the state of it being, we haven't seen the true nature of that American flag yet on the in that world. They do a really good job of covering up each and every time. But if it turns out that it's possibly a very like white nationalist based world, I could see that bringing him some kind of cool robot, like a GI robot. We got a big beefier version of him. And I could just see like Rick Flag just being like, "Yo, come with me over here to this place. Like, I think you'd have a lot of fun over here." Right. It would be like a fun thing just to kind of do. But then obviously, I think the most likely, just given how it's all tying into like the universe that we're seeing in live action so far, is would be a cameo by Lex Luthor. I think would be kind of cool, because they're dealing with this interdimensional technology. Then I feel like who better than Lex to kind of get like more knowledge on this, because he was the one that kind of invented his own way to travel from place to place via another dimension, right? And obviously they referenced the Luthor incident many times, and we know that he's at Belle Reeve. So I think it's a very probable likely probability that he would show up in some form. So I think that would be an interesting choice for sure. And it'd be a fun cameo just to see him in that TV show. A big character like Lex Luthor in a Peacemaker show would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, I think Lex makes the most sense. But I would love G.I. Robot in live action. I think that would be fucking insane.
A live action sequence with him would be
insane. Would be great. Also, I know it's probably the lowest probability at this point. I would also still like to just say I would love Dr. Phosphorus in live action.
Yeah. Would again, also just another character to see if they would just, how they would use the effects on him or something like that.
I didn't think about the Bride, but the Bride, I would love to see her in live action too, and she could do some damage also. Like, I mean,
a little fight scene with Sacha Bordeaux.
That too, yeah. I mean, but yeah, I kind of agree with all. I was literally going to ask you what you thought. Like, it's the time because we're right up against the last 3 episodes type of thing. Like, what do you think about cameos? And yeah, I mean, I feel like you can make an argument for any of them type of thing. But yeah, I do think Lex probably makes the most sense. I do think even if we get Lex, there's still a very good possibility that we could get Superman or Ultraman or like, you know what I mean? The clone of Superman that got shot through.
I've seen the behind the scenes photo of him with Peacemaker in the Earth 2 clothes too. So he was there. Like we didn't know if it was them just filming that farm scene somewhere on the same day or something like that, or they were just filming the movie and the show concurrently at that point. But yeah, it still lends plenty of room for speculation because you could just have him be like, pop up in the scene with Lex or something like that. Like take Lex back to Belle Reve for something like that for real quick or something. Like
well, that, funny, but yeah, or the Earth 2, like you said, and we both said it, but like you said, we still don't know what we're gonna find that is wrong about this universe.
Yeah,
and it could still be the crime syndicate, Earth type of thing, and that's where we could come across that clone of Superman that got pushed through the portal at the very end type of thing. He could have been transported there. So it's very possible we could see David Cornsweet in either role or both roles before the end of this season, basically. The other thing I was going to say, and we didn't even get, I mean, you mentioned Judo Master a little bit, but we didn't even get to mention that like Judo Master followed Peacemaker through the portal and Eagly through the portal like right away. Yeah. But like far enough behind.
I love the clue that he leaves behind the Cheeto dust on the note, and Alabama's like Judo Master went in there with
like Cheeto dust.
It was orange Cheeto dust too. I'm like, he eats hot Cheetos. This should have been red. Continuity error.
But anyway, so like he's not right behind because he was like trying to get in touch with Argus and he was trying to like tell them what was going on before he went through, and so. We don't know how far ahead, like how things work. We don't know how far ahead, Peacemaker got. And also, we don't know if Judo Master knows exactly what door to go through.
I was going to say, I don't even know if he makes it to the right door. He might stumble into the alien world or something like that and be like,
exactly. So
I'm really like the butterflies.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see, number one, if he does make it to the same universe that our Peacemaker has made it to. And then also I'm a little worried if he does make it to that universe, because what if that is the oh shit moment? This universe isn't what I thought it was, because what if they get like off him?
He's not he's not like everybody else.
I don't want, like, I would love to have a heel turn with Judo Master and have Judo Master be part of the 11. I feel bad to keep saying this because I don't want to just keep saying like I want every character on the 11th Street Kids team, but I think certain characters in universe, it would make sense. It would make sense if in universe Judo Master flipped teams and he goes, you know what, you guys are right. Like this we need to work together type of thing. He might not like them still, but I could see him in a certain situation going, okay, I'm gonna work with you guys. Only because like him and Economos had kind of that back and forth where they both kind of teamed up against what was it, Red Saint? I can't remember.
Wild, yeah.
Red Saint Wild. They both kind of teamed up against him type of thing for a few seconds. And so I'm like, it's not that far off that we could get a scenario where Judo Master has to team up with the 11th Street Kids type of thing. So I would like to see, hopefully him survive and kind of work with the team like moving forward. But yeah, I'm as like I said last episode, I feel like where I said I'm worried about Eagly. Now I'm not worried about Eagly. Eagly is the prime eagle. Eagly can take care of himself. I'm worried about Judo Master now because he does not know the scope of anything that he's getting himself into right now. And I'm worried he could potentially be kind of that canary in the coal mine that proves, what is really bad about this alternate Earth.
He could be, the kind of the sacrificial lamb.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
it's like he's probably like, they notice he's there, like, maybe the top trio, and then, the dad and Keith like react in a way that's like makes Chris be like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
And then he actually helps get Judo Master out of there. And that could be like that turning point, like you said, that makes them kind of actually get some respect for each other, because that's also when we learn that the 11th Street kids are going to make their way over there at some point too. And just some shots alone, you can see the Autobow's like, what the fuck is going on with this place?
Right,
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I could definitely see that where it's like they do enough just to get each other out of there in time too, and just hopefully they don't follow them back. Maybe that could be also the thing too. They actually lead those people back into like the normal world,
possible too.
The normal Earth as well. So yeah, there's so many different ways that they could play this as well. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit right now. We don't know anything. We are going to these last 3 episodes that are supposed to. They've been hyped up so much since before the season even started. We were told that these last 3 episodes, the cameos are insane. I think I can't remember 100%, but I believe the next episode 6, James Gunn saying something about like this was the best acting he'd ever seen from John Cena. I believe that was he was talking about episode 6.
He was on a podcast this week with Tom Segura, and he was talking about like there's a scene from the episode that every time he watches it, he still cries or something like that. So I was like, okay, here we go. Like if we're gonna get into, and you can tell they're getting into like I said, like seeing the performance the entire season has been top notch, but like he just seems to be hitting different levels each episode, and I just feel like it's just gonna keep going up from there. It's really cool to watch.
It definitely is, and it's really I mean. I'm sad that we're at the back 3 now because I don't want this season to end. I don't want this to end. Yeah. But like, I'm so excited to finally get into what is supposed to be like the meat of the season and really, the biggest episodes of the season type of thing. So I'm having these conflicting emotions about the next 3 episodes.
Couple this with John Cena's wrestling career ending at the end of the year too. Like he's just handing out all the feels to a bunch of grown men and kids everywhere. And so it's just like, geez, man, he's doing some great work this year. It's really, again, it's just I'm excited to see these last episodes play out.
Same, yeah, I can't wait. And I mean, we could go on and on and on about like what could potentially happen and all of this stuff and fall down more rabbit holes and tangents and everything, because the season and every episode in it has had these little Easter eggs and these little things that you can talk about with everybody. And that's, I've said it so many times, but I think it just bears repeating that like shows like this really are cool to kind of see all of the conversations and all of the theories and everybody just kind of, reading other people's stuff and going, well, that's cool, but what about this? And it's just so cool when you can see that. Because I haven't seen a lot of hate about this series, which is like leads me to believe that, generally people are enjoying it. And that's what I like. I mean, I like that, everybody's starting to really enjoy it. But more so on that, I just love that. I mean, we do a show where me and you both talk about stuff from our different perspectives and what was important to us versus what was important to the other person. And so when you can see that on a much bigger level is so cool. Because I could literally go on Reddit right now and read 20 different posts about completely different things about just this episode. And I just think that's such a cool thing. And it's just so many different discussions and so many different things that other people are enjoying and are looking into that maybe you didn't think about in the first place. And I just think that's so cool that a show can do that. But yeah,
that's also the great thing about watching like the beginning stages of a growing universe too, is that there's so much potential for all, especially with the little they've already introduced that's possible, like all the sorcery and now interdimensional stuff, space people. Like we got that all within like the first couple of shows already too. So it's just like, yeah, let's just keep expanding what we can do here. I love it.
It's awesome. And yeah, the sky's the limit. Cannot wait for the back 3 episodes. It all starts, with episode 6 this week. And we'll be right there to recap that and talk about all those parts. But in the meantime, as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 5? And you know what? Let's go on record right now. Let us know in the comments below. Who are you hoping to see pop up in these final 3 episodes? What are the big cameos they've been talking about? What are we going to find out about this alternate Earth? Like, what is going to be the major oh shit moment? Let us know in the comments, because anything's possible right now. We don't know yet. So it's just really cool. Let's start some discussions in the comments and get into this and really like see who was right, see what was there, see what everybody wants to see. But as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Popping Off presents That Recap Show.